Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's good to see you all. Happy Tuesday to you. We're going to start with updates, as we always do. I don't really have much in the way of updates on my end. Nothing going on this weekend, I don't think. Just gearing up for fall break. I'm very excited about that. I got a lot of shopping to do for dinner. I got a lot of sides and dishes and stuff for Thanksgiving dinner planned that I have to get those together. But what about you? Updates on your end that you want to share with the class? Mixley, yes.
I gotta go back to Jackson for audition.
Oh yeah, it's like a round 2 of auditions or something?
Rehearsal for Saturday.
Ah, very cool, very cool. Good luck to you. That's awesome. Anyone else with updates? No? Okay, with no updates, we're going to transition into enrichment. Today I'm thinking we're going to take it easy. We're going to use some connections. I'd like to go ahead and start with this new challenge as soon as possible. So we're going to do a quick enrichment today. We have our connections on the board here. We're looking for 4 groups of 4. Let's start over here with Sabrina. What's the connection you see here?
Hail, sleet, snow.
Let's see. We got sleet, snow, hail, and rain. And of course, this all refers to?
Water weather.
Yeah, precipitation, right? Forms of precipitation. Well done, well done. Next one up. Bryce, you want to take this one? Mom, level, kayak, and race car. And these are all, they're spelled the same backwards and forwards. Bonus points. Any of my ELA friends know what that's referred to as? A palindrome. Very good, Ben. Yeah, these are all palindromes. Very good. Next up, Wes, you want to take this one? Jazz, Bucks, Nets, and Heat. These are all basketball teams. Very good. And that leaves our last one, option, tab, shift, and return. What's this? Millie? They're all keys on a keyboard. Yeah, very good. This one's not too hard today. Yeah. Well done. Yeah, to be fair, this was also like the first connections ever done, so this one was fairly straightforward. But yeah, very good, very good. All right, transitioning now into our new unit. Very exciting. We are moving on from our cultural appreciation topics, and now we're talking about our next unit, our next challenge. This is Utopia, designing your own perfect world. In this challenge, for my 7th graders who don't recognize this, and for my 8th graders, this is just a refreshing course for you. In this challenge, we will be discussing, do a lot of deep consideration as to what makes for a perfect world, what makes a society an ideal society. What are the challenges associating with creating a world where everyone is happy, where everyone is taken care of? What sacrifices must be made to ensure that this kind of society can exist? Is it even possible? We're going to be discussing these concepts and more over the next few weeks. And then you will be tasked with designing your very own perfect world, your own perfect society, and creating a travel brochure. This travel brochure will be handed out to everyone, and in this brochure, your task is to convince people to come to your world. And your brochure must contain elements that address certain concepts and certain big issues that need to be addressed in a utopia. Any questions on that before we dive right in? No? Okay, well, with that said, let's just go ahead and get started. Here are your goals. As always, we have 3 main goals of complex reasoning, creative thinking, and affective processing. With complex reasoning, one of the goals of this unit is to independently collect and analyze data to identify multiple perspectives and views on issues. This is very clearly expressed with our debate about, what makes for a perfect world. Is this better than the other if we're talking about creating a perfect society? Creative thinking, you're going to be using independent strategies to interpret others' works and creating original products. Creating the original product, of course, is going to be your brochure. And then the other one is affective processing. We've mentioned this a couple times before. Does anyone remember what that fancy word affective means? Affective processing? It doesn't necessarily mean what you might instinctively think it means. It actually means emotional stuff, things to do with like your emotions. In this case, we're going to be analyzing and applying motivation strategies and organizational skills to persevere through difficult situations, tasks, and goals. This is going to be a longer project. We need to be able to dig our feet in and make sure that we can see this through to the end. We're also going to be talking about some rather sensitive subjects about For example, the death penalty, right? In a perfect world, do we allow such a punishment in a perfect world? Is there such a thing as exiling people? Do we just kick people out who don't do what we want them to do in a perfect world? These are kind of sensitive issues, so we're going to be talking about and working through these kinds of these hot button topics. Starting off with lesson 1, though, an introduction to utopia. What is utopia? Utopia is a word that refers to a community or a society that has perfect or at least near perfect qualities for its members. Has anyone ever heard this word before? Raise your hand if you've heard this word of utopia. Very cool, very cool. The term was actually coined by Sir Thomas More in 1516 for his book, Utopia. That book described a fictional society. It's an island society in the New World, way out in near South America. The word was coined from ancient Greek, so it's not actually a Greek word. Thomas More created this word by combining the Greek words eutos, I think, and topia. Together, it means no place. And I find that interesting. Why do you think that the word utopia translates to no place? Sammy, what do you think?
Dystopia is actually one of our vocab words in English, and
Awesome.
they talk about utopia. It's because every dystopia is a failed utopia.
Dystopias are failed utopias, yeah.
Because utopias can't, they aren't real and they can't exist.
Utopias aren't real, they can't exist, they're impossible. At least that's the going idea, is that it is impossible to create a perfect world. Very good. Bonus points, like Sammy was mentioning, apparently you guys in ELA class are learning about dystopia. Does anyone have an idea about the translation of dystopia? If utopia means no place, then dystopia means something. Hint, hint, the word dys in dis. Does anyone know? Say?
Bad place.
Very good, Simmy. Yeah, it means bad place. It's not a very good place to be. Do we know of any examples of dystopias in fiction?
Yeah, we're reading the Hunger Games.
Very good. It's a classic example in the modern age. Yeah, a lot of people, when they think dystopia, they think the Hunger Games. When I was growing up, there was this other book called 1984. It also talks about a dystopia, a really bad place growing up. There's other ones too. There's also another book. Has anyone ever read The Giver?
No.
Oh my gosh, it is so good. If you have not read The Giver, you definitely need to. I feel like everyone should read The Giver before they graduate from high school. It's a really, really good book, and I highly recommend you read it. Anyway, moving back over to here, that's what utopia means. It means no place. Big question here, obviously, before we move forward, is it even possible? What do you think? Is it even possible to create a perfect world? Why are we not? Turn to your shoulder partner for a little while, and I want you to give yourselves, let's do 30 seconds apiece. Rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first, and then share 30 seconds, and then after that 30 seconds, swap to the next person. Let's see, Bryce, I'm going to have you working with your group of 3 there. And Millie, you're going to be working with your partners over here. So Jaden, William, you're actually going to be working with Millie here. Yeah, shoulders, partner, shoulder, partner, excellent. Rock, paper, scissors, and go. 30 seconds. Tell that person, do you think it's possible? Why are we not? All right, 3, 2, 1, refocus. Fantastic, thank you. All right, what do we think? Now I want to hear from you. Do you think that creating a utopia is possible? That it is possible to create a perfect world? Millie seems to be our only one who believes it is possible. Tell us about it. Oh, I'm sorry. If you think it is possible to create a perfect world, raise your hand. Jaden thinks it's possible. Tell us about it.
So, you know the VR thing? Yeah. So what if we turn turn those into our perfect world where our dreams are the only things that come real. But you don't know everything's a dream. You think it's real, and everyone inside it thinks it's real too.
Isn't that just the Matrix?
I was about to say, Sammy, what you're describing is the Matrix, yeah. A world where everything is perfect and hunky-dory, but you're not aware that it's all fake, right? It's all just a digital representation. Interesting. Those of us who believe that it's not possible, why do you think that? Why are you convinced that it's not possible to create a perfect world? Wes?
There's always going to be like a few people who don't think that it's good enough or they don't like it how it is.
There's people with differing opinions, right? Differing goals, yeah?
It's kind of what Dalton was saying, but some people's utopia might be someone else's like dystopia.
Exactly, yeah. What one person might think is paradise, another person might think this is the worst conditions on earth. Yeah, that's indeed true. Sabrina?
The utopia could turn into a dystopia over time.
It could turn into a dystopia over time. So Sabrina's saying like maybe it's possible to form a perfect world, but it's not possible to maintain a perfect world. It'll eventually collapse. So yes, utopias are often seen as impossible because individuals have different goals, different interests, different values that conflict with one another. We have a group of people who think it's good to do this, but then another group of people think it's bad to do this. And so we have conflict, right? However, this has not stopped people from at least attempting to create their own perfect world. Utopias have been depicted in stories for thousands of years. So we see it both in fiction and nonfiction. There have been real life attempts at creating a perfect world. And also in stories, people have been depicting perfect worlds for thousands of years now. Ben?
Was the Nazis an example?
The what now?
The Nazis in World War II?
Oh, like is that an example of like a utopia or an attempted utopia? Yeah, again, from the perspective of people in the Nazi Party, they felt like what they were trying to achieve was their depiction of a perfect world, right? Where there is like dominant races and things of that nature. That was their idea, and obviously there's a lot of conflict of interest there, right? Yeah, very good, very good. Anyone else? Okay. Taking a look here, this is going to be our main activity for today. In teams, in the new teams that I've sent you up with, each of you are going to read summaries about an example of a utopian society. I have some examples over here at my desk. Each group is going to get one. You're going to read them, and you're going to have a short discussion with that group about your thoughts on that utopia. Then, after you guys have all read each of the examples, you are going to pick which of these utopias you would prefer to live in. Then you're going to get in groups based on that. So if this person, this person, and this person, and this person all believes that Oroville, that's one of the utopias, if you guys think that Oroville is the best utopia, you're going to get together and you're going to discuss why you picked that utopia. Why did you decide against the other utopias? Sammy.
On all the people who take like different they can like have a conversation about why they think it's best.
Yeah, and then afterwards you're going to talk across the aisle and you're going to talk about like why you disagreed, why did you prefer this one over the other. Very good.
Which one would you pick?
I'm not sure which one I would pick. They all have their pros and cons, really. Yeah, good question. Any questions on that before we begin? Excellent. All right, I'm going to start passing these out. Once these get passed out to you, you're going to spend a few minutes as a group of 4 or 3 in this case. You're going to spend a little bit of time reading, and then you're going to pass these to the next group. Let's go clockwise. These are going to go clockwise, and then afterwards we'll pick which one we want to stick with. There we go. And then this one for you guys. Wait, why is there 5? Wait, no, something went wrong there. Oh, this one's mine. Sorry. Thank you. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, group of 4. Millie, you're going to be reading The Republic
Mr. Taylor.
with these 3 here. Yeah.
My dad really likes Star Trek.
Oh, very cool. Excellent. All right, Millie, pass these out to your partners, and then you can read. Yep. Go ahead and pass these out to... Oh. Yeah, each of you get one. There we go. Yeah, each of you get one. Oh. Yeah, sorry. Everyone has their own copy to read. Yeah. There we go. Once you're done reading, have a discussion with your group about your thoughts on that utopia. Do you agree with it? Do you think that this is an ideal world? If so, why do you think it's ideal? If you don't think it's ideal, why not?
So if everyone finishes reading in the group, do we just start talking?
Yeah, once everyone in your group is finished, now you have an open discussion with your group. Why do you give me your thoughts on that utopia. Do you think this is truly an ideal world? If so, why? If you think, no, it's not quite what I want out of a perfect world, why not? What do you think it's missing? What sacrifices, it says over here, talk about the challenges and the sacrifices made to achieve that vision. In order to get this idea of a perfect world, what might people have to give up, right? For example, in Star Trek, it looks like their idea of a perfect world involves exploration. They think a perfect world is one where you get the freedom to explore the universe. What about other people who think, no, our place is on Earth. That is perfect for us to live our lives out on Earth where we were born. Maybe that's a sacrifice, right?
It says peace and respect for all forms in life.
Mm-hmm. Peace and respect for all forms of life. So maybe you have to sacrifice an idea of like species superiority, right? If we think that humankind is the best type of being in the entire universe, maybe in this world you have to give up that sentiment, right? That's a sacrifice. What challenges do you think are associated with trying to form an intergalactic utopia? That's probably a really challenging thing to do. Talk about that.
Like this has to do with like aliens and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
They all speak like different languages.
In the world of Star Trek, they all share like a common language. It's not expressly described as English. I think it's kind of like just the common language. Not all of them can understand each other. I think generally though they all share like a common dialect that everyone can speak alongside their planetary dialects. Yeah.
Producer. Yeah. This is literally just slavery.
Oh wow, what do you think that?
Because it's literally people are forced to being worked on what their skills are based off.
Yeah, so the Republic believes that everyone has a place, everyone has a purpose in that community.
What if someone's blacksmithing, but he really wants to go bake some cakes for his job?
But he has to be a blacksmith because that's like his place.
Yeah.
I think I might disagree. I think it's Plato, right? Yeah, Plato is the one who described the Republic. I think Plato's mind was, if you're good at this, then do it. So you're talking about the blacksmith who wants to be a baker.
Yeah.
In Plato's world, Plato would tell the blacksmith, no, your purpose is to be a baker. Quit your job as a blacksmith. This isn't what you're meant for. You clearly are meant to be a baker. I think that's Plato's vision.
No, like, what if you're good at being a blacksmith, but terrible at being a baker?
But you want to be a baker anyway? Oh, in that case, yeah, there might be some conflict here. I think Plato would say, doesn't matter what you want, your skills are with blacksmithing. That's going to help the greater good, so you should be a blacksmith, regardless of your dream.
It's basically slavery.
Interesting that you would consider that slavery. Okay, well, maybe talk to the group. What do you guys think about that?
I think that would be unfair because you could always get better at baking.
That's true, yeah. Maybe you want to switch jobs, right? Yeah.
It says structured hierarchy and society justice and harmony of individuals.
It would be good if I'm a king.
If you're a king.
What if what happens whenever the people in their jobs die of old age, right? Or what happens if somebody who is good at this wants to do something else, but since all the slots are already filled up, they can't, and then they don't want to do their job and lose motivation.
That's potentially a risk that you have to take when you're talking about Plato's Republic. Yeah, very good. Very good. All right. 3, 2, 1. Student 4. Let's get student 4 to grab the papers and pass them clockwise. So these go to that group, your papers go to this group, your papers over there, they go to this group, and then you guys pass yours front to this group here.
It was a 25% chance.
Yeah, it goes clockwise.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
I know there's like Adam and Eve used to like die, right?
Yeah, according to the story, Adam and Eve were kicked out of the garden, right? And then they grew to a very old age, like 500 or something like that.
If they just keep living in the garden, would they die?
That was the story, yeah, that if they stayed in the garden, they didn't disobey, then they would have everlasting life. Yeah, that was how it was depicted, yeah. I think one of the big objections that people have to it is the idea of this is a world where there is no pain, there is no suffering, and some people would say that suffering, that pain is what makes us human, so that's one of the many objections people have.
Question.
Uh-huh.
I know that if they're in the garden, they could like live forever or something. But also in this, I know that like they had kids once they left the garden.
Yeah.
Is that like a thing inside the garden, or like they're not?
Did they have kids? What's that now?
Like I know they had like 2 kids like in the Bible.
Yeah.
Whenever they got kicked out, they're not able to like do them the Like, did they even know about that stuff in the?
Like, were they able to have kids in the garden?
Well, like,
Is that what you're saying?
there was like before they ate from the tree of knowledge, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Like, did they even know about like reproduction?
Oh yeah. Like this, as the story goes, before they were kicked out. God, according to the story, cursed women. He says that like childbirth, for example, is a very painful process. It tends to be a very painful process. According to the story, it's only painful because of the consequence of Adam and Eve. Beforehand, they would have been able to give birth without any pain. So I think it's assumed that yes, they could have kids in the garden. It's just it would have been a painless process. Yeah, I think the goal of the garden was to have the garden, filled up with lots of people, but then they got kicked out. Yeah, good question. All right, 3, 2, 1. Same thing. Pass them around.
Which
Oh, same way. Yep. Keeps going clockwise.
Here's the paper clip we got.
Keep them the paper clip this time.
It's in there. You put it on top. Hey man.
Ben, stop talking. You're
No, go back to your I'll throw it.
No,
Yeah.
I don't want to see the word like that. Yeah.
Hey.
I'm good.
All right, keep it going. Read that next one.
Take that back, Ben Chow. Say sorry. I'm sorry, Ben Chow. I forgive you. Oh, thank you. Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna bring some cards so we play blackjack.
Plato's Republic, yeah.
Democratically mean?
Democratically?
Is that like food for everybody?
Yeah, like everyone gets together and votes on issues as a collective. Yeah, very
It's
good.
gonna be arguments with like voting for stuff, right?
Yep, this is one of those real life utopias where it's a little more tricky than you see in fiction. Yeah,
Actually try to do this.
it still exists actually. Yeah. Now I think one of the questions is this truly a utopia? Is it a perfect world? No. Why are we not?
Right here.
I mean, why? Why would you want to eat an apple? What would you want to eat an apple? You open a fresh bag of 6 carrots, diamond, ribeye, wagyu.
Alrighty, 3, 2, 1. Swap it around one more time. What's that? Yeah, that's fine. Good catch, Jordan. All right, one more reading. Go ahead. Crack into it. All right, this group here, what do we think about the United Federation of Planets?
Lame.
Lame. Interesting. What do you think? Why do you say that?
Boring space stuff.
Boring
Nah,
space
I don't
stuff.
like space stuff.
So in your case, this
I
would
like
not
my
be
plants.
ideal, right?
I like my plants.
Plants.
Yeah.
I think so. To be
And I hate
fair,
exploration too.
you hate exploration. To be fair, the members of the United Federation they aren't obligated to explore the planets. You're able to live out your life on your home planet. You're a member of the Federation, but you don't necessarily have to be a member of like Starfleet. Starfleet is a group of people who that is their job. They explore and they promote peace throughout the universe, right? You can be a member of the Federation and not be an explorer. You can live out your life peacefully on your home planet. What do you think about that?
Well, that sounds boring.
It still sounds boring. Interesting. Anyone pro Federation here?
Also, that's too much to keep up with.
Too much to keep up with? Very large utopia. In real life, it might be hard to keep such a thing alive. Is that what you're saying? Yeah? Yeah, interesting. Keep discussing it.
So, let me cook. There is a job where you just taste ice cream.
Hey man, go back to that. What did I just
I'm just looking at the 50 states.
see? No, not that.
This is the entire thing what America doesn't want. This is
Alrighty. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and refocus for me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I got one more for you here. This was for our 5th group, but we don't have that. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly read this out to you before we wrap things up here, okay? This is another attempted real-life utopia. I put that in quotes because some people might not consider this to be a perfect world. But this is a real-life attempt at a utopia called Auroville. Auroville is located in India. It's an international community in Tamil Nadu, India, dedicated to achieving unity, spiritual growth, and sustainable living. The town is open to people from all countries, backgrounds, and beliefs who are committed to building a harmonious, progressive society. So anyone is able to be a part of Auroville. The location, like I said, is in Tamil Nadu, India. It was founded in 1968 by Mira Alfasa, known as the Mother, with support from UNESCO and the government of India itself. Let's talk a little bit about the goals of Auroville. The core goals of Auroville are to promote unity, ecological sustainability. That's fancy talk meaning what? Ecological sustainability.
To self-sustain themselves with that in the economy.
To be self-sustaining. Ecological doesn't have anything to do with economy, though. I see the connection here, but ecological... Plants, yeah, the ecology, the environment, yeah. They want to be environmentally sustainable, right? They also promote a spiritual lifestyle. Auroville seeks to transcend national, religious, and political divisions, offering an environment where residents can pursue their highest potential. And then a little bit about the structure of that society. So Auroville operates without a formal government. They don't really have a true government to speak of. Instead, it relies on community-based decision-making, where residents work together to address the community's needs and to foster equality. There is no money system in Auroville either. Residents contribute to the community's shared economy. Society here emphasizes cooperation, environmental mindfulness, and shared spiritual growth, with a focus on cultivating a life in harmony with nature and with each other. Very interesting stuff there. What time are we at? It is 1:51. We're not going to have time today to do our debates, to group up, but I do want you to take note of these 5 utopias that we've discussed today. Tomorrow you're going to come in and you are going to group up with people who you believe, who you agree with being the most ideal society, and then we'll have talks about why you consider that ideal. What are your questions? Yeah, we're going to do that tomorrow. William.
Okay, this is more about like our project.
Uh-huh.
We're going to be, so we're making a brochure about our utopia.
About your utopia. You're going to build your own perfect world.
So, is it like there are no rules on what we're gonna like make? Like, so you know how that one was talking about like, so in the Bible, where it's like guided by divine presence.
Mhm.
Can I be the divine presence in my utopia?
That's interesting.
And give them infinite resources, so we can be.
I will give you creative freedom to that end, yeah. I will put a little asterisk on there. Obviously, the content of your brochure must be school appropriate, clearly. But as to like what are the rules, if you want to be the god of your utopia, then sure, I'll give you some creative freedom on that end. Jaden.
Can we make it like almost impossible to actually build, right? Like a machine that just magically appears and magically makes any food you want.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Anything you want.
One of my students last year, they created their own planet for people to live on. That had no seasons. It was always spring on that planet. So yeah, you get like almost complete creative freedom as to what your perfect world is going to be like. Yeah, no problem.
What if it's actually a perfect world? Everyone lives on their own actual world that they can keep on changing. And then if they want to meet their neighbor, they want to push their planet using super powerful thrusters randomly popping out.
Go for it, man. Go for it. For now, though, I'll go ahead and collect those collections there. Make sure your paperclip is back on them. Thank you. Awesome. Before we let out for the day, though, I do want to hear your thoughts, your initial thoughts. Thank you. What do we think about these utopias that we learned about? Raise your hand. I'll take those, guys. Put a paperclip on them. Let's turn our attention over to Ben.
Wait, what?
Oh, you had your hand up? What are your initial thoughts on these utopias?
I was gonna ask something else, but I'll
Ah.
ask later.
Okay, that's fine. Anybody got any initial opinions? Any reflections, William?
I forgot who said this at the first, but they were talking about, at first we were talking about whether or not we thought it was like possible to create a utopia. But it was like, they said that you can't sustain one. And I feel like that's like it for most of them, because it feels like the people have to all be in it, and not everybody wants to follow the rules.
Right. Yeah, so in a fictional universe, it's generally necessary in a fictional utopia that everyone universally has to agree on the goals, which is virtually impossible in real life. So in fiction, it's really a necessity that, like, in a fictional universe, everyone agrees, like, yes, this is for the best. Like the Star Trek one, right? Everyone has to agree collectively that exploration is the goal. Jaden, yeah.
Yeah, but all of them have a goal, and I feel like just living here would be better, and because it can maintain itself more. It has like its own economic system. You can quit your job. You can make your own business.
Interesting.
Everything, and like all the other ones is either they force you to do something, or you don't have any money system. People just have to agree. Or if you're not a social guy.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, no, that does make sense. Yeah. Real quick though, little recap. Utopia is the main term we learned today. What is the Greek translation of that? Alexi? No place. And we call it no place because, anyone? Say it again?
Because it's impossible to make it so far.
It's generally considered impossible to create a perfect world. Bonus points. The opposite of a utopia is
Dystopia.
a dystopia. Very good, very good. What is one of the utopias that we covered today? Mixley. Oroville, very good. We learned about another one. The Garden of Eden, yep. Jaden?
Plato.
Plato's Republic, yeah, very good. The fourth one?
I feel like the ED or something, or like the Star Trek.
Oh, the United Federation of Planets, yeah, from Star Trek, very good. And then there was one?
In Missouri.
There was one that's located here in Missouri, yeah. It's called East Winds. Yeah, East Winds Community. It's in the Ozarks. Very good, very good.